Hi everyone and welcome to Geekfest Rants. Today we have part 2 of our New York Toy Fair special. Joining me again is Kyle, and we are going to pick it up right where we left off last week, in the middle of the Star Wars Hasbro Toy Fair presentation. Okay, now moving on to the some of the actual vintage figures. We have a Clone Trooper, which has like
From You to Pow,
which has like orange stripes.
Episode
and again,
3.
We're dealing with vintage here now.
Yes.
Luke Skywalker from New Hope. It's the one where he's
going across the Death Star.
Yeah, he swings on that line with Leia attached to him. Well, they made a Luke. R5D4, no idea why. They've made him a couple times. I don't understand.
They haven't made him in a really long time, actually. The last time I saw him was like in
It
2006.
feels like he's always around.
I know, but he isn't.
A generic Stormtrooper, which...
Yes.
Okay, fine. There's a Han Solo from the medal
Who
ceremony.
has a huge head.
Which, the picture they showed us is really weird. And again, these are prototypes, so
Yeah.
maybe they have to work on it. But if it looks like that, it's going to be a bust because
Yeah.
the head is gigantic. And he's wearing the medal. He's got his hands behind his back. Interesting figure.
And Commander Kree looks so fat.
Commander Gree from Sith?
Episode 3, yeah. He looks so fat. So fat.
There's a Luke Skywalker from Dagobah, very similar to the Luke Skywalker from the X-Wing.
And the Hoth.
You know, he's wearing the same outfit. His hair is a little different, but technically, I guess if you wanted a Dagobah Luke, now you're going to have a Dagobah Luke. Generic Stormtrooper, AT-RT driver. You know,
He's
interesting
cool.
type of clones. You know, if you're into clone army building.
This is like the first time they released him in years.
Weequay Skiff Master, which is one of the skiff guards.
He's the
Basically,
first guy you see on the
he's the
skip.
guy who kind of pokes Luke in the back to jump into the into the Sarlacc pit. VX6, which I believe
Jedi Master you see in Attack of the Clones.
he's
maybe
part
arena.
of the arena battle. General Lando. This is a figure they haven't made in a long time.
Yeah.
Which is Lando from Return of the Jedi.
Which when he's riding the Falcon, basically, just with a cape on.
They're also making a Han Solo from Empire. The scene where he's fixing the I think it's in Hoth. There he's got like goggles and he's trying to fix something.
His head's
like
a little smaller.
it's like he's welding stuff together. They're making him. There's Barriss Offee from the
she's
Clones?
actually in a deleted scene in the Revenge of the Sith. Like you see her like briefly, like she's fighting off the clones after the security.
But you see her in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
You do see her.
You do see her like
They're
once.
building another Rebel blockade trooper, which they've done that before, I believe, a while back.
But this one's apparently supposed to be the one where you see him like looking at the X-wings go by when they're launched from Yavin.
Bon Vidman, which
Who you see in the cantina? He's
unless you saw his picture, you wouldn't have any clue what it is. This is like this weird guy with a horn on his head in the cantina. He
Looks like a brain to
You
me.
see him for like a second. I guess they're slowly getting to every character in the cantina. Captain Fordo, I don't.
who is
remember.
actually from the old Clone Wars series in 2005.
But because they're releasing this as a
EU character.
No, they're releasing this as a vintage
Yeah, wow. I am
character. So I guess he showed up somewhere. I just don't remember where. Lore Grey.
But remember, they're still showing EU figures.
Five of First Clone Trooper, Episode 3. I believe they've made one a
Coruscant
while
Guard,
back.
yeah.
But this one is from Episode 3, so they made one. Isla Sakura.
See her like 2 years
I'm
ago.
pretty sure I've seen her before, but I guess they're making a new sculpt.
Yeah, this looks new and awesome.
Dr. Evazan. Dr. Evazan is the character
Haven't made this one in a long
from
time.
A New Hope, which it's him and Ponda Baba who are bothering Luke. And he's like, he doesn't like you. And that's the character who says that. Kithaba. Kithaba is another one of Jabba's guards, I think, from Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
They are making also a character named Nam Anor, and this is where
From the Old Republic.
This is where we get into the expanded universe, and they actually showed us a card. It's a Star Wars vintage card, and instead of saying Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back,
Doesn't belong there.
it says expanded universe. So they're starting to peek into the expanded universe.
Don't buy it.
We'll see what happens to those and in what direction they go.
Yeah.
I'm completely not interested, so we'll move on from that. There's also a Bastila Shan, another expanded universe character.
Old Republic.
No clue, don't care. Echo Base Trooper, it's all right. I guess they haven't made one in a while.
We are very interested to see which one it is.
As we were saying before, Ponda Baba. They're making a new Ponda Baba. Is the other guy, the Luke and the other character. Well, this is the
Rebel.
And from what I understand, it has exchange. You can exchange the hands.
And also the Rebel Trooper. I think that might be Corey Burton, the guy who plays Cad Bane in the Clone Wars, because he actually plays he plays one of the troopers in Empire Strikes Back.
Well, one interesting thing they're doing is, again, in the vintage line, they're going to release a series of 12 Revenge of the Jedi cards, carded figures. These are, now what's interesting about it is that, yes, it will say Revenge of the Jedi. They've never made anything that says Revenge of the Jedi and sold it, in the general market. The name of the movie was changed, as we all know, from Revenge to Return, so that all the majority of the marketing material and the toys all say Return. But this is now something they're doing now as a, one of these collector niche things where some collectors who need to have everything will buy these. It's interesting. I don't specifically know that if any of the figures they're releasing are exclusives. If there are figures they've never made before. From what I see here, for example, Luke. They're making a Jedi Luke, Return of the Jedi Luke. He's going to look exactly like the same one they released recently, like maybe a month ago. Except the card is going to say Revenge instead of Return. Yeah. So, big deal. From what I understand, the Leia is a big deal because I don't think... I heard they haven't made Return of the Jedi Leia. This one is going to be packaged as a Revenge of the Jedi Leia. So that's interesting. Now
here's a Comic-Con thing.
Yeah. The next thing we have, speaking of vintage, is what they call the Comic-Con exclusive, the 2011 Comic-Con exclusive. And what they're doing is they're going to take 14 figures.
Shove them into a Death Star.
They're going to take 14 Revenge of the Jedi figures. Now, I know a few seconds ago I said there were 12. There are 12. What they're doing is they're taking the 12 we just talked about, plus 2 additional figures that are not going to be sold in stores. Salacious Crumb and the Mouse Droid.
Yay, Mouse Droid.
And they're going to include them in this package to make a total of 14. What they're selling at Comic-Con is this cardboard-looking Death Star, big old circle. And when you open it, because it has 2 flaps like a book, inside it reveals your 14 figures. Now, like I said before, the 12 Revenge of the Jedi ones we talked about before are there, and the 2 additional ones. The 2 additional ones apparently are being put on mini cards. They're using a card that is slightly smaller than the standard card, thereby making it an exclusive, for that. Now, keep in mind, if each figure costs $8 or $9 or 10, and this thing comes with 14 figures, this is going to be an expensive purchase. This is going to be something in the $100 to $150 range.
Yeah.
One new figure they're releasing this year.
It's a mail away.
It's a mail away, similar to the one they just had the previous year with Boba Fett, the classic Kenner Boba Fett, the rocket firing Boba Fett. What they're releasing this year around is something called the Prototype Armor Boba Fett. Now, so far we've only seen the card for that. We haven't seen the figure because we don't know what the figure exactly... I have seen
the head of the figure.
We don't know exactly what the figure will look like. The card has a picture of what looks to me like a white painted Boba Fett, which comes from some of the original behind-the-scenes pictures when they were first messing around with the costume of Boba Fett.
That's the final suit, just with them. They didn't get to paint it yet.
Right. It looks like a final. At least the shape of the suit. It's just is accurate. The color is something that is not there yet. It's all white, completely white, except for some black pieces here or there. Now, the thing we don't know about this figure is that we have no idea at this point if it will be a Kenner style sculpt, meaning the original Kenner, like the rocket firing, or will it be a modern Hasbro style, like some of the most modern Boba Fetts that they've released lately. We don't know. Either way, this figure is one that I'm interested. I am definitely interested in this one, which again goes back to this bizarro rule of mine of this is just an odd figure, and it's a prototype, which means a prototype is almost like a concept, as far as I'm concerned. It kind of falls into 2 different categories. Yeah. It's just a bizarre thing to have. It's a bizarre addition to the collection, and it's kind of like a prototype. It is a prototype. It's a concept. And this will be one of these, I believe, you mail 5 proofs of purchase, and you get it for free.
Like free.
All right. We talked about earlier about the Blu-ray commemorative packs. And this is something that initially I was really excited about because at first I thought that these packs were going to be the packs that would include any deleted scenes having to do with these new Blu-rays. but apparently they're not. These are just commemorative packs. They take 4 classic figures. Repacks, as
well,
Kyle
most
said.
of them, but the Phantom Menace, they're all new. I want to get the Phantom Menace.
Right. Well, some of them, you might encounter a new figure here or there in terms of a different skull.
Phantom Menace one's all new.
My point is that they are already existing characters. There are no new characters because they're trying to give you the main characters of each movie. So think about it: 6 movies, 4 characters per movie. Each of these packs will have your main characters. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about the packaging is that if you connect all the boxes together and you line them up as if they were books, it creates a picture, a little diorama picture that has the word Star Wars. This is a collector thing. I mean, it's tough. I mean, who's going to buy these? Hard to say. Definitely a collector's niche. You might find your typical kid buying it because all of a sudden, possibly for the price of 3, you might be able to get 4 figures. It's a chance to get all the main characters in one shot. So it's got some potential in terms of being able to sell, but as far as I'm concerned, no thanks. It doesn't, it doesn't fall under any of my categories.
But the first one looks interesting.
As we said, there's a total of 6 because it's 6 films.
Yeah. And
that takes us right out of the Blu-ray exclusive related packs. After this, we have Galactic Heroes. Galactic Heroes is something I'm really not interested in.
But it's kind of cool. It's kind of cute, though.
But what's interesting about Galactic Heroes, for those of you who don't know, are the toddler, if you will, version of action figures. They're these little tiny miniature, about 2-3 inch, more like 2-inch high figures, kind of fat hands, fat feet, fat heads, kind of squished kind of looking figures. It's also interesting because they're creating a whole bunch of new ones, but they announced this is the last wave. They are discontinuing Galactic Hero.
But no, they're not. They're also making them. They're making Galactic Heroes again, but they're gonna have them more joints.
Well, no, exactly. The Galactic Heroes are going away, and they're being replaced by this called Star Wars Jedi Force figures, which are slightly different. They're a little bit taller, a little more proportionate, a little more like they're standing straighter.
I didn't get to see these yet. I gotta see these.
They're not Galactic Heroes.
Yeah.
They do have They have more articulation. They have actual arms and legs and head articulation, which the Galactic Heroes don't have. Yeah. And from what I understand, these were already sold a while back under a similar name. It might have been called Jedi Force. I found on the internet that these have been sold before, not as extensively. They didn't have all these ships that they're building now for these, but it was a very small collection.
Whoa,
but they decided to, for whatever reason, they want to go in this direction now. I don't understand why. The other line that Hasbro has been working on lately is it's what's called the FX Lightsaber line. The FX Lightsaber line is a line that used to belong to Master Replica, a company that had that line for quite a number of years. And what they specialized as far as the Star Wars lightsaber goes is a replica of a lightsaber with a very authentic metal, aluminum, I guess, hilt, and a blade that extends out, and when you turn on the saber, an internal light comes on to replicate the look or the effect of a lightsaber lighting up. They've had this line for years, and about 2 years ago, I think it is, or a year and a half or 2 years ago, they ran out the license. They did not renew the license for whatever reason, and they stopped making them. Hasbro then turned around and picked up the license and started releasing some of the already released Master Replica style lightsabers. Again, the main lightsabers. They go for the Lukes, the Vaders, the main ones. What they done after that is they said they wanted to improve them, and the way they improved them is they started building them with removable blades. You can actually unscrew the blade and just display the hilt instead of the complete blade and hilt. Well, what they're doing now is a couple of things. They're about to release a cheaper, kid-friendly version of the FX lightsabers. They're going to start out as usual with the basic ones, which are the Luke's and the Darth Vader type of lightsabers. The biggest difference is the price. The authentic large size ones are usually anywhere from $100 to $120 a piece. These new ones that they're going to release this year, they're about $35 to $40 a piece. The hilts are not made out of metal, from what I understand. They're more plasticky, and the blades are much shorter. However, the effect of you hitting the button and the thing and the blade lighting up is going to be there, And from what I heard, also the sound is also going to be there. They will have clashing sounds similar to these.
So, do you know the Massacre replicas Yoda? It's probably going to be around the same size as that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm thinking something like the Yoda-sized one.
Maybe a little bigger.
But like I said before, the big difference is going to be that. It's going to be that these are targeted more for kids who don't necessarily want to spend $100 or $120. This is more for a kid who goes to a theme park, for example, and we've seen them a million times in theme parks.
I have.
They have these knockoff lightsabers. They're not lightsaber brand. They're not Star Wars brand. They're just generic, sword of laser or something, and kids buy them like tons, and they're cheap. Well, now basically they're getting into the market of trying to put out a product that's affordable. And it has the Star Wars stamp on it.
Yeah.
Something else in the action figure line includes exclusives. Every year they put out some kind of an exclusive to certain stores or certain events or certain things like that. Well, Disney this year is putting out an exclusive Disney Star Tours exclusive. And this is because they're about to release Star Tours 2. With the opening of the second Star Tours theme ride, they're going to release a pack. 2 packs actually. Something called the Star Tours Ambush Pack, which is a couple of clone troopers, Vader and Boba Fett, and then the Star Tours Travel Agency Pack, which from what I understand are the main characters that you will now see when you ride the Star Tours attraction come, I think May is when they open. Mm-hmm. And it's got a couple of new characters that we didn't have before. These are all some of these you probably have seen in the movie. I don't have individual names, but there's a C-3PO, there's 3 other droids and some kind of alien looking piloty looking guy. And it's interesting. These are only available at Disney, I believe. It's a Utapau pilot, is that what it is?
Yeah, you see him in refueling Obi-Wan's ship in
You might be right. But yeah, you can only buy these at Disneyland or Disney World soon, I'm sure.
Maybe Disney Store, possibly.
Now, as I said before, certain toy stores, usually end up getting some kind of an exclusive. Toys R Us is going to get 4 exclusive characters.
8 exclusive characters to 2 packs.
Set 1 of 2. So these are sets. So these are 4 packs.
Yeah.
These are pilot 4 packs. There's Sela Kot, which is Red 2. Maybe from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, they're all from Return of the Jedi, apparently.
Lieutenant Oxiok. Now, here's where it gets nutty. Because you put a TIE fighter pilot with a name, now you're dealing with beyond science fiction. The movies never had names for the TIE fighter pilots. And Lieutenant Oxiox is something they made up. Unless it's a EU thing I don't know about. R5P9, some kind of generic R5 droid.
It's apparently a droid. It's like it's Red 2's leader? Red 2's droid, I think.
Lieutenant Eklark Young, Gray 3, maybe from Jedi. The helmet looks really familiar. And he...
Wait, can I see?
Look at the helmet. He's got the helmet with the red thing. From what I remember, this might be the guy in Jedi that you could see him. His ship is spinning. I think he's an A-wing pilot, and his ship is spinning, and he crashes.
This guy.
No, look at that helmet. And he crashes into one of the Death Star, one of the Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
I think that's him. So that's interesting. That's an interesting
He's
one.
the guy who crashes.
Yeah.
Awesome. He's basically a great leader, I
He
think.
crashes, yeah. Now, the second set, the Toys R Us, they have a Major Mianda, and it says Scythe 1. Again, it's a TIE fighter pilot. I have no idea who this person is. They're just making stuff up now.
Yeah.
And they have Palso Turn, which is Blue 7. Never heard of Blue 7. I don't even remember. He's wearing a red outfit. He might be an A-wing pilot or a B-wing pilot. I don't know.
Here's an X-wing pilot too.
R2T7, some R2 unit, who knows? And Grizz Fricks, Red 5. Don't remember Red 5.
Red 5. He's an X-wing pilot. He's either a B-wing pilot or an X-wing pilot.
Well, he's wearing an X-wing color.
Yeah, but the B-wing pilots also wear the same outfit.
Now, Walmart also has a couple of exclusives.
They're nothing really.
And they're associated with certain. They're associated with certain episodes. They're calling it a Landing at Point Rain,
Season 2
Obi-Wan battle droid, and then a Weapons Factory Anakin
and Super Battle Droid.
Super Battle Droid.
V2 Battle Droid.
And these apparently they're DVD packs. They've released something similar like this before. It's a DVD that has a couple of episodes, and you get a couple of figures too. No big deal.
Yeah.
Target also will have a couple of 2-packs.
4 Geonosius.
There's the Special Ops Clone Trooper, which is like a orangey looking clone trooper,
Yeah.
and a Geonosian drone.
Yeah, which are the ones with no wings.
Right, and usually those orange clone troopers show up at the Geonosian stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's an ARF trooper, Waxer, and Battle Droid. The Wax trooper, Waxer looks like some.
We see him in season 1 too.
Yeah, he's some kind of brown camo looking stuff, and the Battle Droid is a reddish orange kind of battle droid.
They did that in episode 2 too. In Lego Star Wars 2, they did that.
Toys R Us exclusive, Rebel Transport Speeder. This is a Rebel, kind of like a ground crew guy, and a little transport that transports like 1 or 2 pilots.
I think my dad wants this one.
Yeah, I think this is from New Hope. It's from New Hope. It's from the Battle of Yavin. And it's an interesting little toy. I mean, it's not a cutscene. I'm not sure if I do get it, how I can legitimize getting it, because I'm not sure how it would fit other than just a cool looking character and a cool looking ship.
Could I have the character?
Hey. Flintlock Speeder with Geonosian Droid.
Yeah, they show this. They have it like in a brief scene. Yeah, they're
nothing
cool.
Special.
It's Count Dooku's speeder just painted blue, basically.
These are spring toys.
Oh, I have this guy.
Kmart exclusive Captain Locke, which is something Kyle picked up today, and according to this isn't supposed to be available till the spring.
Yeah, but I picked it up at Kmart and
Now we also have Target a couple of 3-pack exclusives, vintage 3-packs. Stormtrooper Vader and Death Star Commander, I think. Yeah, cool. And then you have Luke, X-Wing Luke, a Ben, and a Han Solo 3-pack.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back now to the FX lightsaber thing.
The ultimate thing.
This is the first one that they've now released, they're about to release, from Hasbro, similar to the ones I already own. The large size, authentic looking FX lightsaber. They are going to make the Kit Fisto lightsaber, which is a completely new design for the hilt.
When does it come out?
And a green blade. Now, what's interesting about this, which is different than the ones I own, and it'll be probably for the first time that I'll own one, is that this is one of these new removable blade ones. Yeah. Completely new design. You can remove the blade, reattach the blade, but it is in proportion to the ones I already own. So this is, again, they finally give us a new, after the last new one they gave us, I believe might have been
Age of Ventress.
The Age of Ventress one, yeah. This is definitely, again, one of the things that I'm interested in. And like I said before, this is what they're showing us now. Yeah. I have questions. I have things that I'm still wondering about. Yeah, Kyle?
Wait, did it say what it said for the Kit Fisto when it comes out?
No, it doesn't have a date. I mean, this doesn't have a date. I'm sure the date will leak out. Will start leaking soon.
Yeah, it's gonna come out in December, probably.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, listen, it gives me more time to save money for it.
Great.
But like I said before, more information is coming to San Diego Comic-Con, which will be in June or July, I believe. I think it's actually June. Maybe it's June. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said before, out of all this stuff, this is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a good year for me. Because it would be a bad year if I wanted a lot of things. And from this year, as far as action figures go, this is probably one of the least numbered action figures I wanted. Last year, they put out more figures that I wanted and I ended up getting. But from what I've seen of these pictures, now again, we haven't seen everything because there's a lot of stuff we haven't seen yet. They'll show us more pictures during Comic-Con. But from what I've seen here, the only figure I'm interested is the prototype Boba Fett, possibly that clone in training, heavy in training, armor.
Probably going to get that.
Probably. We'll see. The Yavin transport guy.
Kit Fisto's lightsaber.
That's as far as the figures go. And then the expensive item will be the Kit Fisto lightsaber. So that pretty much wraps it up for New York Toy Fair.
Toy Fair.
Toy Fair usually, like I said before, they do a lot of stuff. They go into Legos. They go into... You got to remember, it's not only Star Wars out there. The Toy Fair is huge. It's at the Javits Center. They have tons and tons and
Hello
tons.
Kitty.
And tons of toy manufacturers. Everything you can think of, from little kitty toys to more adult, teenager type of stuff, and the Star Wars type of... Everybody and their grandmothers
they got BB
there.
guns.
But we are just concentrating on the Star Wars side of things. Anyway, I would like to thank you for joining us on this slightly different topic. On behalf of Kyle and myself, we will see you next time. And thank you for joining us at Geekfest Rants.
His name was Yoda. He was a Muppet. Darth Vader was so bad. And by the way, he's Luke's dad. Luke kissed his sister. His hand got Fett was so mean, Jabba had bad hygiene. Why didn't they all just relax back on Tatooine at the start?